Hi there, this is Mel Harrison with Ideal Way of Life, and we got another video for you today. We're 1 week out from Thanksgiving, and one of the primary feedback that I have for the video series is they wanted to see maybe some recipes. So I figured we'd do a pretty popular one that most people really enjoy, especially one that I'm going to be making in my household, and that's the mock baked apples. So that's going to be made. The video that you get today will have a link to it with the recipe. Pretty simple. You don't need too many ingredients. You can do this either with zucchini, which we'll show you how that's done today, or of course you can use the chayote squash. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes as we go through putting this together. The other thing we're going to need is some Walden Farms apple butter, some cinnamon, lemon juice, and if you choose to, a little bit of Splenda or stevia just to make it a little bit more sweet, but I find that you really don't need it. So what we're going to do right now is go ahead and start the process. Of course, if you have a scale, the scale is going to be great because then you'll know basically how much you're making. If you don't have a scale, then of course you'll have to judge it out. So I have 4 zucchinis. One I've already cut up. We got 2 here and 1 here, so that's going to be our 4. And believe it or not, 150 grams is 1 cup of zucchini. And roughly 1 medium-sized zucchini is going to be about 150 grams. So you can pretty much judge 4 medium zucchinis is going to give you about 2 servings. So I have 1 serving again already cut up. So once you get your zucchini cut up, you're going to put that into your baking dish. The second thing then we're going to do is go ahead and we're going to cut up some zucchini. So once you have it peeled out, you don't have to peel it. I actually like to peel it myself and not have the rind on there, but I've had it both ways. You're going to cut your zucchini in half. Of course, then you're going to score down the side probably about 3 times, and that's going to give you a nice little segment there. We'll do the same thing here. Again, depending on how big it is, we can throw that together pretty easily. And then you just make little dices all the way through. And there we go. So that's going to pop in here. Yes, I wash my hands. The other thing I want you to take notice of is anytime, of course, you get vegetables, make sure you do wash them as well before you clean them. Chayote squash is a big one. We'll talk about that in just a second. So let's go ahead and finish this. Of course, be careful. And that's going to be about 4 cups of zucchini. So hard part's done. Getting that cut up and ready to go. You might want to put a little oil, just spray oil on the bottom of the pan so it's not going to stick on you. Ingredients. Cinnamon. Love cinnamon. We're going to be very, very plentiful with cinnamon. And even later, when I go to turn this about halfway through, kind of spoon it around, I'm going to be adding even more cinnamon. So lemon juice. This is the concentrate. So whatever you decide to use, real lemon or from concentrate's fine. We're going to put about 2 general tablespoons in there. And there we go. Again, if I'm making a larger batch, which oftentimes I'll do, I'm going to just double or triple the recipe, depending on what my serving size is. I'm also not going to be, this is the Walden Farms apple butter, I'm going to be pretty generous with this. Now, I don't have the microwave today to actually microwave this down, but I'm taking about 3 pretty good scoops there, tablespoon-wise. Take a spoon. Now, normally, again, I would microwave that down, and what will happen is it'll tend to get a little bit more on the runny side. It'll coat a little bit more evenly. But I'll tell you, once it's been in the oven for about a half hour, it's going to take about an hour to cook, depending on how long you want to do this. You'll notice that I'm actually doing this in a baking dish. It can be done in a crock pot as well, so I've done it both ways. Crock pot I actually like a little bit more because it has time to really sit and simmer, and it really takes on that flavor. So that's pretty much it. Again, if I was to actually take a little bit of Splenda, maybe a pack or 2, or stevia, just kind of sweeten it up a little bit, you're good to go. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to actually go put this in the oven, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes, and we'll see how this turned out. Okay, so we got our zucchini in the oven, our mock baked apples, and I'm going to go ahead and again, I want to show you a little bit of a different variation. This can be done many different ways. This is what is called chayote squash. It's found in pretty much any grocery store. Oftentimes people walk by, they're not really sure what it is. It is a vegetable, and it is on the phase 1 document. So zucchini that we have in the oven is 150 grams. This is going to be pretty close. It's 160 grams for 1 cup. Again, if you have the scale, that's going to be the most accurate way to kind of see how much you're doing. Now, I've already cut one up, so it actually does look like apples. And I will tell you that the longer it cooks and the more it takes in that cinnamon and the Walden Farms apple butter, it just is a really tasty treat. So let's show you how to cut this up. I do want you to be careful. Sometimes your skin could have a little reaction when actually cutting up a chai squash. Doesn't mean anything's wrong. It's just some people will have it. I'd rather someone know than not know. It does come in a little baggie. This is so the fruit or the vegetable does not dry out. So if you take this home, don't take it out of the bag until you're actually ready to cut it up. So all we're going to do is we're going to take and cut the ends off. And it will have a seed in there. So we're going to keep that off here to the side. And then we're going to go ahead and cut that in half like that. And of course, then we're going to peel it. Just like so. And you can see there's a little seed in there. So the seed we're actually not going to use today. I know that I've had dieters say that that's something you can eat if you chose to. I choose not to. So we're going to go ahead and cut this one up real quick. Kind of give you an idea of how that's done. Just like so. So once we're good to go, you can see again the seeds on that side. So good, and we're going to take the seed out a little bit. Just be careful. Kind of pops out pretty easy. Just like that. And again, all we're going to do is take that cut that up into like little apple slices. If you like them a little thicker, you can. If you want to cut them in half, you can do it that way too. Okay. So again, once you have that process done, you've weighed it out, got everything you need. You got your 4 ingredients. Again, Walden Farm apple butter, cinnamon, lemon, Splenda or stevia if you chose to, and of course the chai squash. All right, so we're going to go ahead and check on our zucchini apples and we'll see how they turned out. Okay, here we go. So fresh out of the oven, we have our mocked apples, and again, this is made with a zucchini. So if there's anything that you will find when you're making this at home is your house is going to start smelling like fall, let me tell you. So there we go. Again, that's about 2 servings because I used, can't go wrong every time. All right, so what we're going to do is take a small little break. We're going to pop back. We're actually going to make a dessert. Okay, and we're back and we're looking to have some dessert. So everybody's always looking for that sweet treat. We're going to be making something out of the Janeva's cookbook today called the apple pie smoothie. Fantastic. We will leave a link to the Janeva's cookbook so that you know where you can get that. There are so many tasty, wonderful recipes for phase 1 in this cookbook. Not just phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. But we're going to go ahead and get started. This is a favorite, and I just recently found this one through a dieter who had it in the cookbook. And she had it in her journal, and I'm like, what is this? She's telling me all about it, and I said, that's it. I made it that night, and it's been a favorite now. So we got our NutriBullet here. You can use a Vitamix, Magic Bullet, whatever you have. Just make sure it's a pretty decent blender. We're going to start with about 8 ounces of water, about 1 cup there. So then we're going to use the vanilla pudding from Ideal Protein. So this is going to be one non-restricted dessert. And we'll go ahead and we're going to add that in here. We'll need just a few other little ingredients as we go through. So there's our vanilla pudding mix. We're going to need a pretty generous 2 tablespoons of the Walden Farms apple butter. All right, we're just going to scoop out a pretty generous scoop there. And another generous scoop there. So there's my 2 tablespoons of that. All right. Now you can see here on the side I have some cinnamon. I have apple pie spice, and I have pumpkin pie spice. Now, depending on what flavor you're looking for, the cookbook's calling for apple pie spice, so that's what we're going to use today. And it's going to call for a 1/4 teaspoon of apple pie spice. Now, I'm also a little generous with this one. Pop that in there. And we need some vanilla extract. We're going to take that, and we're going to add that in here as well. Again, about a 1/4 teaspoon. There we go. Drop that in there. And now we're going to blend that. And then we're going to come back to the blender and we're going to add a little bit of ice. Again, you'll see this is very simply done. There we go. Spoon that down a little bit. And depending on how thick you want to make this, I've found that I really enjoy it with just kind of 1 cup of ice. You can have a little bit more in there, so I think it all depends on what you're looking for texture-wise. And we're going to go ahead and pop that in there like that. All right, so here we go. Apple pie smoothie. Take that, slide that to the side here. And again, this is 1 complete serving, so as you go through this, don't feel like you can't have the whole thing. And just top that off with a little extra spice. And again, if you wanted to, you can add a little cinnamon, kind of flavored around, but I tell you, there's, oh yeah. For those of us who can't have pumpkin pie on Turkey Day, this is definitely a way to go. All right, so I hope you enjoyed these videos that we've done today. Again, we'll be coming out with some more recipe videos. I think that's been a primary push for a lot of folks, and we're going to see how things go. But again, I appreciate your time. You guys enjoy your Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Bye.